I'm your tour guide for this afternoon. My name's Ed. I'm one of the volunteers on this all-volunteer train crew today. First of all, I'm going to cover some safety items. If you have young children, please make sure they keep their arms, hands, legs, heads, etc. inside the train at all times. If you're riding in the 284, the 143-year-old coach, those windows are very tricky. You need to have a wood block to make sure they're held up and won't come down. So if you need to open one that's not open, please grab one of the train crew to have them get a wood block to make sure your window's securely held up. Also, if you're traveling in the open air car in the end and you have young children with you, please do not let them sit at either end of the car. We need to have an adult sit there so that if the car has to stop or start quickly, they won't get smashed against the bulkhead of the train. Also, young children can kneel on chairs, but they cannot stand on chairs. I think that pretty much covers our safety items. Once we start off, which the engineer will blow his horn two short blasts, which will tell you we're taking off. Everyone must be seated and remain seated for the whole tour around the property. That's about all the safety items I can think of. We're going to be starting here in a minute. I'm going to be talking about our rolling stock and facilities that are outside the loop and those that are inside the loop. Before we start off, you look at the steam engine up by the depot. That steam engine used to run out of Boulder, Colorado back in the late 1800s, early 1900s to service the gold mines high above Boulder like Gold Hill and Caribou and etc. When the gold mines played out, that railroad went bankrupt and they sold that engine to the Colorado and Southern, which used it for a number of years, and then they scrapped it. And the Rio Grande Southern bought it out of the scrapyard and had it shipped down to their main line down in southwestern Colorado, and used it until they went out of business in 1952. As we come down towards the crossing here, if you look back up in the hill next to the depot, you'll see a covered roof there that covers up one of our train cars. And next to it is a red switcher engine from Thor's. We have that switcher engine outfitted with an interactive display where you can actually simulate running a switcher engine, so be sure and stop by there and try that out. As we come around here, you're going to see our roundhouse come into view. We have 5 stalls. Install number 1 is 491. That's the largest coal-fired steam engine in Colorado. Install number 2 is engine 20, which is one of our movie star engines. It was a movie called A Ticket to Tomahawk, in which Marilyn Monroe played a big part. Install number 5 is Midland Car 111, an observation car which we're raising money for to restore it. The exterior of that car has been damaged by the Colorado sun and weather, and it's install number 5. You can see it from the backside here. If you look in the backside of our 5-stall roundhouse, you'll see a green light above a black door. That's the visitors gallery. Just follow that sidewalk, it'll take you right to the visitors gallery. You can go in the back of the roundhouse and see the work that's going on there. And you can see the Midland car. We stripped a lot of the wood off the exterior, and we have a lot more work to do on it. But the donations we're accepting today will go towards that restoration. Coming up on the inside loop here, we're going to have some of our vintage cars. The middle car here, car 284, as I mentioned, is 133 years old. 133 years old, too. Here's a Rio Grande Western business car. It's just about the same vintage. The Uinta car is actually newer. That car came to us, it had been a barn, and our volunteers had to work from black and white photographs to actually restore it. The engineer on the train today actually did the upholstery work on all those chairs that were built with wood by our volunteers. You notice engines 12 and 14, those are Shea engines. Those used to run on the Georgetown Loop Railroad. We're storing them for the owner. They're different than most steam engines in they're vertically powered. They have a vertical pistons that power gears, and the gears turn a drive shaft, which makes the tender and the engine an all-wheel drive consist. Be sure and walk up and see the other side of those engines so you can see the gears and the vertical pistons and the drive shaft. Down below us is the Denver Garden Railway setup. The ground level tracks are G-scale electrified tracks. The elevated tracks that go around the three trees on the east end of the setup actually are used for live steam engines. On the inside of the loop here, you'll see two Union Pacific standard gauge passenger cars. 4801 is a dining car. When it came to us, it had everything to run a dining car except the food and drinks. You can walk through both of those cars and see the interior. They're quite nice. On the inside of the loop is our library, the Richardson Library. It has the most extensive collection of railroad history for the railroads that have run in Colorado, for most of the railroads that run in Colorado for the last 140 years plus. On the outside of the loop, you'll see engine 5629, which was built during World War II. I'll talk a little bit about that next time we come around. We also have engine 3011, which is another one of our movie star engines. It was in a movie called Runaway, which was actually filmed here in Arvada, Colorado. Up by the red switcher engine, you'll see a business car. That was business car 96. It was built for the president of the Burlington Railroad. It's real gorgeous inside. It has 2 bedrooms, has a big dining room, has a big kitchen facility, and quarters for kids. If you come around here, you're going to see our roundhouse again. We have a turntable. It's called the Armstrong turntable. You can see 2 little kids are moving it down there. The thing is perfectly balanced. It weighs over 50 tons, and we use it all the time to move equipment around the yard. One of our 3 steam engines down for major overhaul. You can see the metal cab for it right here below the train right now, 346. That's the metal cab. We have parts for that stored all over the property right now while we're doing major rebuild. If you look up towards the black booth there, you'll see a stainless steel car. That covers off of the Chief railroad that ran between LA and Chicago. That train, total streamlined stainless steel train, was called the Train of the Movie Stars. Coming up on the outside of the loop, we're going to see our water tower. We named it No Agua, which was a stop on the Chile line between Alamosa and Santa Fe, Mexico. Our water tower holds up to about 8,500 gallons in right now. Usually it's running around 9.5. When we water up 491's tender, if it's totally empty, it takes up to 6,000 gallons. When we water up the other 2 tenders, if they're totally empty, they can take up to 4,000 each. If you look on the other side of the stock cars here, you'll see a yellow and black diesel electric. That was built in 1955 for the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad. It was used, the Rio Grande bought it to run their passenger trains. When that F9 A and B unit consist was donated to us, it had over 3 million miles on it, and it actually had fuel in the tanks. It's probably one of the most photographed F9 engines in the country. You'll also see next to it a big red snowplow. That snowplow is not motive. It has a steam power unit to power the snowplow itself, but it has no traction power. It had to be pushed by other steam engines, and typically when you see old photographs, if they're going through a 20-foot high snowdrift, they'll have 2 or 3 steam engines behind it actually pushing it through the snowdrift. Also on the outside of the loop here, you'll see engine 191. That's the oldest surviving steam engine in Colorado. And also coming up, I mentioned 5629. That engine, when it was in its heyday during World War II, could pull 77 heavy freight cars. It speeds up to 100 miles an hour between Chicago and Denver. That's steam engine of the Denver program. Tested work. Also, you'll see two of our Galloping Geese there, number 2 and number 6. Number 7 is here, that's right there next to the Red Caboose. The Galloping Geese were built during the Depression for the Rio Grande Southern Railroad because it got too expensive to run the steam engine. The steam engine takes a crew of 5, the Galloping Goose only takes a crew of 1 or 2. They did that so they could maintain their U.S. mail contracts and stay in business, and they were able to stay in business until 1952. Those were built with automobile bodies and typically touring car bodies, so that the back seat you could get about 5 people in. And they all are a little bit different, each one. There's 7 of them built, there's 7 of them still in existence, 7 of them still run. Only one of them's not here in Colorado, that's at Knott's Berry Farm in Point Vista, California. So we have 3 of the remaining 6 in Colorado. The other 3 are one's in Ridgeway, Colorado, one's in Telluride, and one's in Dolores, Colorado. The sister car to our 284, that's our middle car here, is right here. That's 280. That car is actually owned by the city of Boulder. We store it for them and we're able to use it. We also, the engine down by the roundhouse is owned by the city of Boulder. You'll notice a refrigerator car here, 167. If you look at the top of that car, on each end there's 2 hatches on top. Workers would climb up there, open the hatches, drop big blocks of ice down into a bunker area, and the ice would cool down the car to keep perishables from spoiling. This stock car, 5714, is actually a double-decker. It can carry twice as many sheep as the car next to it. New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming are big sheep-producing states. And in southwest Colorado, that 5714 was used to move a lot of sheep between their summer pasture up high down to their winter pasture down low, and vice versa, and also to take their sheep to market. It wasn't until the late 40s, early 50s that trucks started to take over that transportation. We have some relics here from the Manitou and Pikes Peak Railway, especially engine number 1. This engine ran from the late 1890s up until the 1960s. It's a cog railway. It has a center track called the rack, and the cog wheel fits into the rack. There's a cog wheel actually in front of that engine you can see if you walk over and take a look. And that would power the engine and its cars up the mountain. That concludes our ride for today. I want to thank you for riding with us and being here today. Have a good rest of your day here at the museum. Remember, please stay seated until the engineer stops the train, sets the train brakes, and he blows his horn 1 short blast, which will tell you it's okay to get up and move about. Again, thank you. Remember, we're collecting money for the restoration of Midland Car 111, that observation car, which used to run out of Colorado Springs, up into the South Park of Colorado to take tourists to go up and pick wildflowers. Have a good time rest of the day here at the museum. Thank you.
I think people took care of the older.
I think that's the kitchen.
There's a dead end.
It's okay. You can go look.
It's not that long.
Careful, Daisy, down the stairs. And
It's not that long.
Oh, it's a rotten egg.
Get over here, boy!
It's a rotten egg.
like you're going to or we could bring them like two to three.
That might be a good idea. Because then there's not as much chance for people tripping over stuff.
Are you cleaning?
Uh-huh. So you have to clean the track because what makes the locomotive run? Yeah. So they come with the power pack.
Oh. Oh.